No use waiting further. So now we will continue with yarn leaf. Navratri is an important festival here also, to me also. Yarn leaf. From 1976, 15 days of yarn leave is credited in advance to the leave account of the government servant at the beginning of every half year. That is on 1st January and 1st July. This credit will be subject to reduction for any period of extraordinary leave or days on during the previous half year. From 1/7/1997, a maximum of 300 days of earned leave can be accumulated in the EL account of a government servant. The leave calculation was very cumbersome earlier. Earned leave calculation was very cumbersome earlier. It was simplified. And on 1st of January and 1st of July, automatically 15 days EL is credited. And in case there was a period of extraordinary leave or a period which is treated as dies-non, then full credit of 15 days will not be given in the next half year. For every completed month, 2.5 days will be credited, and any period of absence treated as extraordinary leave or dies-non, that 1/10th of that period will be deducted from the next credit. If a government servant is appointed during the middle of the half year, his leave account shall be credited at the rate of 2.5 days for each completed calendar month of service, which he is likely to render in that particular calendar. Advance credit there hai, isliye. So you will have to see how much to be given credit. That is calculated at the rate of 2.5 days per every completed month. In case of government servants retiring or resigning during a half year, his account shall be credited at the rate of 2.5 days per completed month in that half year, up to the date of retirement or resignation. Further, proportionate reduction shall be made from the credit. 15 दिन जो देते हैं उसमें deduction will be made at the rate of 1/10 of whatever extraordinary leave you have availed. For that period, you will not earn leave. From the commencement of the half year. This is further limited to the extent of credit being afforded. ऐसा calculate करने में 15 दिन से ज़्यादा होता है. That cannot be. Only 15 days you reduce or give credit. That should not exceed 15 days. Maximum allowed for half year is only 15 days. When a government servant has 300 days at his credit and at the beginning of the next year, the advance credit of 15 days shall be kept separately, shown in brackets and allowed to be availed during that half year. पूरा 300 दिन पूरा account भरा हुआ है. Suppose you are not availing it, that much 300 days full, it is brimming with the full capacity. So next 15 दिन credit देना है, that 1st January or 1st July has come. You have to give. That can be shown in bracket. 300 days पूरा जितना credit पहले है वो दिखाएंगे. फिर 15 दिन जो अभी earn किया है, that will be shown in bracket. That will be shown in bracket. So that should be availed in that half year. अगर वो 300 दिन का अलावा जो 15 दिन अभी क्रेडिट दिया है वो ब्रैकेट में जो रखा हुआ है, that has to be availed during this half year. अगर नहीं करते हैं, that will lapse. So next January, 1st July में ऐसा हुआ है, 300 days plus 15 days. Now he got the credit that is shown in bracket, but he has not availed that 15 days during that half year, 1st July to 31st of December. Then what will happen? He will lose that. it will not be added. Another 15 days he earned during January next year, that is not added here. Bracket में जो 15 दिन रखा हुआ है, only 15 days can be kept maximum. Subject to the condition that no leave should be granted to a government servant beyond the date of his retirement. The maximum amount retirement के बाद कोई छुट्टी देने का कोई, there is no chance of granting or availing leave after retirement. So with that condition, the maximum amount of earned leave that can be granted to a government servant at a time will be as follows. That is 180 दिन EL अगर किसी को maximum sanction करना है, that can be only 180 days in one go. So 180 days से ज्यादा नहीं दे सकते हैं. Suppose you are a group A or B government servant and you want to avail continuously more than 180 days EL, then it can be given up to 300 days with one condition, that you can spend within India only 180 days. Suppose आपको चाहिए 240 days EL at a stretch. You can be granted, if you are a group A or B officer, you can be granted 240 days EL with the condition that you should not spend more than 180 days in India. The rest of the days, 180 to 240, that should be spent outside India. Suppose you are telling, I am not spending whatever that is, you got 240 days, you are spending 180 days in India, and the rest, that is another 2 months, that I am spending in Nepal or Pakistan or Burma. 1935 में जो India था, those countries, in that, if you spend, that will also be treated as spending in India. जैसे India, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Burma, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Pakistan, इन कंट्रियों में आप स्पेंड करेंगे कोई भी छुट्टी beyond 180 days, that will not be treated as a foreign country for this purpose. So the basic rule is you are entitled to avail 180 days maximum EL within India. Suppose you want to avail more than 180 days and you are a group A or B officer, you have to spend it outside these countries. India का अलावा जो अभी बोला है, बांग्लादेश, बर्मा, भूटान, श्रीलंका etc. 1935 में ये सारा इंडिया में था. So during that period, what was India? Then in those countries, if you want to spend, that will be treated as if you are spending that leave within India. इसलिए the basic rule is you can avail continuous maximum period of EL to be availed within India, that is 180 days. उससे ज़्यादा you can take, but you cannot avail within India. You have to go outside India. Then in that case, it can be availed. If a government servant joins a new post without availing full joining time, in case you are transferred and you are directed by your office to go immediately and report there without availing joining time, so you have a chance. You can go join there and come back to pick up your family. Then you can avail these things. So उस समय तक you can, once you go and join, there is no question of retaining that joining time. इसलिए ये facility दिया हुआ है. In case of urgency, you are directed to go and report immediately without availing joining time. That unavailed joining time can be credited to your EL account. For two reasons, you may be facing such a situation in two cases. One, you may be under direction from your office to go to the new place of posting under transfer urgently without availing joining time. That is one. Number two, sometimes you are working in a small place. Vijayawada में काम करते हैं. You are posted to Bombay. मुंबई जाने से उधर अकोमोडेशन क्वार्टर्स नहीं है, अनऑफिशियली पता कर लिया, द क्वार्टर्स वेकेंसी इज नॉट देयर, whether it is Jandalpur or Department of Board, vacancy is not there. So if you go there, you will have to search for private accommodation for family. So you will go there, report there, and then search for accommodation, fix up accommodation, come back to pick up your family. In the case that unavailed joining time should not go waste. So this facility is given, that will be credited to your EL account. Suppose on 2 occasions it is not possible to get the unavailed joining time into your EL account. Suppose your EL account is full. It is full with 300 days. लेकिन 300 दिन आपका खाते में होने से भी further earning for 15 दिन अब उसका ड्यू हो गया तो that can be kept in bracket, whereas unavailed joining time cannot be kept in bracket. So अगर आपका खाते में for 300 days full है, you are not availing full joining time on your transfer, that cannot go within bracket. वो नहीं रख सकता है, that will lapse. Credit नहीं मिल सकता है. That is one thing. Number 2, within the city, if you are shifted from one office to the other, you are entitled for 1 day joining time. That 1 day cannot be. Suppose you are relieved in the forenoon, or you are joining in the forenoon itself within the city. So it is possible. You are not availing it. In that case, that 1 day cannot go to your EL account. These are the 2 occasions that unavailed joining time can't go to your EL account. If a government servant is posted in new post without availing full joining time, the number of days of joining time, subject to a maximum of 15 days, reduced by the number of days availed, will be credited to his earned leave account, provided that the earned leave already at credit together with his credit does not exceed 300 days. अगर आपका खाते में 295 days EL है, and you are getting a transfer whereby you get another 15 days joining time मिल रहा है. You are getting a transfer from Delhi to Chennai, and you are entitled to get 15 days EL. 15 days joining time. So either EL account में you are availing only 1 day, 14 days बचा है. Normally that 14 days can go to your EL account, but in this case your account is already your account, EL account, is with a credit of 295 days. Only 5 days can be credited. Other 9 days will be wasted. Maximum that can be in your account is 300 days. Subject to following conditions. When he is ordered to join new post without availing full joining time, तब जाकर वो बच जाता है, वो joining time goes unavailed. So sometimes the direction comes from the office, you go and report immediately. When he proceeds alone to join the new post and takes his family within the permissible period of time for claiming TA for his family, तो आप जल्दी उधर जाकर ये रिपोर्ट करना, ये एक बात है. दूसरा, अकोमोडेशन, बिग सिटीज में जाकर अकोमोडेशन ढूंढने के लिए परिवार का कहाँ रखेंगे, तो इसलिए पहले आप जाएंगे उधर अकोमोडेशन फिक्स करके वापस आएंगे. फॉर दैट पर्पस दिस फैसिलिटी विल बी हेल्पफुल. The unavailed joining time cannot be shown in bracket separately in case one's EL account has already 300 days in credit. 300 दिन credit है account में, so bracket में नहीं रख सकता है. 1 day joining time admissible for transfer within the same station if unavailed cannot be credited to EL account. एक दिन मिलता है वो local transfer में, वो that joining time cannot be credited if it is unavailed. Half pay leave. From 1st January 1986, all central government servants will be entitled for 10 days half pay leave in advance on the 1st January, 1st July every year. This will be at the rate of 5/3 days for each completed calendar month of service, which they are likely to render during the particular half year in the following cases. तो आपको जैसे 15 दिन EL क्रेडिट होता है, इसी तरह 10 दिन हाफ पे लीव क्रेडिट होता है। गवर्नमेंट सर्वेंट्स अपॉइंटेड ड्यूरिंग द हाफ ईयर, उस समय तो जितना महीना वो कंप्लीट, what is the likelihood of his completing that much? Suppose somebody is joining in the month of March, मार्च 15 तारीख को ज्वाइन करते हैं, सो दैट मार्च तो अधूरा चला गया है, फुल मंथ नहीं बनता है, इसलिए कंप्लीटेड कैलेंडर मंथ अप्रैल मई जून 3 महीना के लिए 7.5 days बनता है सब in the case of EL. In the case of half pay leave 5/3 into 3 ऐसा करके राउंडेड ऑफ टू द नेक्स्ट हायर डे, ऐसा उसको दिया जाएगा, क्रेडिट दिया जाएगा। गवर्नमेंट सर्वेंट्स रिटायरिंग और रिसाइनिंग ड्यूरिंग द हाफ ईयर, उसको भी सपोज मार्च 13 को ये रिसाइन कर लिया, so he has completed only 2 months, so only that much credit will be given. In the case of government servants who are removed or dismissed or who die while in service, the credit will be at the rate of 5/3 days per completed calendar month up to the end of calendar month preceding the month in which he is removed or dismissed or dies. जिस दिन उनको रिमूव किया जाता है एज ए मैटर ऑफ पेनल्टी, सर्विस से निकाल दिया जाता है, तो उस महीने से पहले मंथ तक ये क्रेडिट दिया जाएगा। क्रेडिट विल बी रिड्यूस्ड बाय 1/18। सपोज जनवरी में, जनवरी फर्स्ट जनवरी से लेकर 1 फरवरी तक, बोथ डेज इंक्लूसिव 32 days छुट्टी नो 36 days suppose, so 5th of February तक, 1st January से 5th of February 36 days बनता है, and if somebody is on extraordinary leave for 36 days or 36 days को dies non माना गया है, so in that case while giving credit in the next 1st July, इसका 1/18 will be reduced in the credit to be given on a half pay leave. So instead of 10 days, there 2 days will be reduced. 36 days extraordinary leave में था, इसलिए इसको 2 दिन कम किया जाएगा, 1/18 to 1/18 2 दिन reduce किया जाएगा, and only the balance will be given credit. Half pay leave may be granted either on medical certificate or on private affairs, दोनों हो सकता है। In the case of temporary government officials, no half pay leave should be granted unless the leave sanctioning authority is satisfied that the government servant will return to duty on expiry. Suppose the employee who is asking for half pay leave, then the leave sanctioning authority should satisfy whether there is likelihood of this person joining duty. On completion of leave, he will come back to report for duty. The condition will, however, not apply. In the following cases, such condition will not apply. What is that? In case a government servant has been declared completely or permanently incapacitated, नौकरी के लायक नहीं है ऐसा डिक्लेयर किया है, इनवैलिड पेंशन में जाने वाला है, then in that case this question doesn't arise for further service by medical authority. Half pay leave can be commuted into full pay leave on medical grounds or otherwise as per relevant rules. हाफ पे लीव को 2 दिन हाफ पे लीव कटवाकर आप 1 दिन फुल पे लीव ले सकते हैं, दैट इज कॉल्ड कम्यूटेशन ऑफ लीव. हाफ पे लीव, सपोज यू वांट 5 days लीव, यू गॉट अम्टी नंबर ऑफ लीव, खाते में बहुत हाफ पे लीव पड़ा है, आपको 5-6 दिन हाफ पे लीव चाहिए था, 5-6 दिन लीव चाहिए था, then you can surrender 10 days half pay leave and take 5 days commuted leave. Full pay ले सकते हैं. Commuted leave. Commuted leave can be availed only on medical certificate with the following exceptions. Normally, commuted leave can be given only on medical certificate. Exceptions though है, that is 60 days in continuation of maternity leave. Without medical certificate ले सकते हैं. Up to a maximum of 60 days to a female government servant with less than 2 surviving children when she adopts an infant that is less than 1 year old. एक बेबी को अडॉप्ट करना है, इसके पास 2 बच्चे नहीं है, so when she adopts a child of less than 1 year old, then in that case the 60 days can be availed without medical certificate. Another occasion that the without medical certificate kaisa commuter leave ले सकते हैं, that is 90 days in the entire service for adoption for approved course of studies certified to be in public interest. कभी study leave में जा रहे हैं, you are availing study leave. In that case वो काफी नहीं है. Suppose you are going to study some course that is क्या है, study leave में ऐसा है 12 महीना को मिलता है. Normally study leave 12 months का होता है, and special case में 24 months study leave मिलता है. Then doctorate करना है, PhD करना है वगैरह 36 months. That is not actually study leave, 24 months max. And in addition the extension ले सकते हैं. वो ऐसा case में you can take 90 days. 90 days in entire service for a approved course of studies certified to be in public interest. Leave sanctioning authority should be satisfied that there is reasonable prospect of the government servant returning to duty on expiry of leave. As such, commuter leave is not sanctioned as LPR. अगर या commuter leave कोई मांगते हैं, ये देखना है वो वापस आने का संभावना है कि नहीं, ये पता करके फिर देना है. इसलिए LPR का रूप में commuter leave नहीं दिया जाता है. That is leave preparatory to retirement. मतलब वो वापस आने के बाद वो retirement में चला जाएगा. That is that fag end of your career, you are taking some leave, that is called LPR. LPR का रूप में you cannot take commuter leave. Twice the number of days of commuter leave is debited to half-pay leave account. Because there is no commuter leave account. Commuted leave का separate खाता नहीं है. Where from you are taking commuter leave, that is from half-pay leave account. So half-pay leave में 300 days पड़ा है, you can take 150 days with full pay. That is commuter leave. Debiting क्या किधर होगा? That is half-pay leave account से debit होगा. On quitting service or on voluntary retirement without returning to duty, अगर commuted leave में है, उस समय voluntary retirement लेते हैं, क्या होगा? Next, the difference between half-pay leave salary and commuted leave salary should be refunded. Suppose I was availing 1 month commuted leave debited in the half-pay leave account, 2 months का debit हो करके you are availing 1 month. Suppose नौकरी छोड़ देते हैं without returning to duty, you are leaving the job. Then in that case, that difference between what you got as commuter leave, full pay आपको मिल गया होगा, उसमें the commuter leave cannot be granted in this case because you have to come to duty. Reasonable prospect है कि नहीं ये देखकर ही commuter leave देते हैं. So in case you are not coming, then in that case this difference between the half-pay leave entitlement, half-pay leave salary, whatever is entitled, and the commuter leave, whatever has been paid, उसका difference आपसे वापस लिया जाएगा. However, if the reason for retirement is ill health, अगर ऐसा commuter leave में रहने वाला retirement में इस कारण से गया है, because he was sick, ill health का कारण वो नौकरी छोड़ रहा है, then in that case strictly ये recovery नहीं होता है. Or even in the event of death, अगर मर जाता है, death is always honored. So इसलिए उस समय भी recovery नहीं होता है. Commuter leave can be granted to a government servant on his request, even while EL is due to him. आपको EL पड़ा है, you want to avail leave, half-pay leave भी पड़ा है. You choose to avail half-pay leave in the form of commuter leave. आपके पास EL है, HPL है, लेकिन you are availing in the form of commuter leave. You have asked for. Nobody can change it. So they will grant. They have to grant. इसी तरह external leave में भी ऐसा ही है. That is, आपके पास EL है, HPL है, so but you are applying for external leave. In that case, they have to sanction extraordinarily. मना बिल्कुल मना करना है कर सकते हैं, लेकिन once sanction करना है, then whatever you are asking for, that leave has to be sanctioned. L&D बोलकर भी कोई लीव नहीं है. It is all these manipulations all are possible only in half pay leave account. When you have got sufficient number of days, you can commute and take full pay leave. When you don't have, खाता खाली है, half pay leave account is empty, but number of service आपके पास काफी service पड़ा है. You have put in only 10 years service and 35 years of service. No, not 35, 25 years of service अभी आने वाला है. You have more than 25 years of service left. In that case, if you want half pay leave in advance, जो खाते में नहीं है, but you are likely to earn, because उतना सर्विस पड़ा है, लंबा सर्विस पड़ा है, you are likely to earn half pay leave further. So that much can be taken in advance. Half pay leave taken in advance is called leave not due. Leave which is not due, but you are going to earn. The sanctioning authorities, suppose I have put in 38 years of service. In the next 2 years, what is left? Only 2 years of service left. Suppose I got 40 years of service. 38 years खत्म है, मेरा खाता सारा खाली है, सब लीव अवेल कर चुका है. Then only 2 years. Then I ask for L&D. कितना दिन दे सकता है? 10 days here, next year 10 days. 20 days. Only 20 days you can ask for L&D. But in case you are asking for 30 days, 40 days, 50 days, then there is no likelihood of your earning that. So you will not get the L&D for more than what you will earn. Leave not due is the half pay leave granted in advance of accumulation. It is granted when half pay leave is not in credit. Half pay leave खाता खाली पड़ा है. It is debited against the half pay leave to be earned subsequently. L&D is granted to permanent government servants normally. It is also granted to temporary government servants with over 1 year of service and suffering from TB, leprosy, cancer, etc., if the post is likely to last till he returns. L&D is granted only on medical certificate. L&D may be granted to a female government servant in continuation of maternity leave without medical certificate. It is also granted without medical certificate to a female government servant with less than 2 surviving children on adoption of a child of less than 1 year. एक infant को आप adopt करना चाहते हैं, आपके पास 2 बच्चे नहीं है, then in that case you can avail this also without medical certificate. Then L&D may be granted to a female government servant without medical certificate to a maximum of 1 year in continuation of child care leave. इसमें देखिए, इसमें एक discrepancy है in the rule itself. I have written to the DOPT, but उन लोग कुछ action नहीं लिया है. L&D may be granted to a female government servant without medical certificate to a maximum of 1 year. 1 year का कितना दिन होता है? 365 days. लेकिन आपको maximum कितना दिन हो सकता है? That is only 360 days. So this 1 year in continuation of CCL, so that is wrong, because 1 year means you are exceeding the maximum permissible limit of 360 days. एक जगह 1 year लिखा हुआ है, that is in continuation of CCL. You can take L&D for a period of 1 year. That means 365 days. लेकिन इस रूल में L&D के अंदर ये रूल में बोला गया है maximum in a full service one can avail only 360 days of L&D. The sanctioning authority should satisfy that the government servant would rejoin duty and earn amount of leave required as to adjust the L&D. L&D अभी जितना मांगता है उतना earn करने लायक है, उतना सर्विस पड़ा है, ये कंफर्म करके L&D सैंक्शन करना है. If a government servant resigns or voluntarily retires while on L&D, the already sanctioned leave not due should be cancelled. अगर कोई रिसाइन करना चाहता है, he is tendering his resignation but he is availing L&D. In that case, that has to be cancelled because he is leaving the service. So there is no question of granting in advance, half pay leave in advance. वो नहीं हो सकता because he is not going to earn that much. Leave salary already paid for the L&D should be recovered. अगर पहले पे कर दिया, suppose L&D avail करके रिटर्न किया आज ही टेंडर करता है resignation, then he might have got leave salary, half pay leave salary मिल गया होगा, तो उसको recover करना है. The recovery can be waived. कब waive कर सकते हैं? In the case of death, government servant L&D में जाकर मर जाता है, then in that case there is no question of recovery. इसको waive कर सकते हैं. In the case of death of a government servant, or if the resignation is due to ill health or is retired prematurely, ऐसा केस में he is helpless. ये अपना कारण से नहीं, it is beyond his control. If the government servant on expiry of leave not due resigns or voluntarily retires, the leave salary should be recovered. The recovery can be waived in case of death of a government servant or if the resignation is due to ill health. Sanction of leave not due should be limited to half pay leave to be earned subsequently. Leave not due can be granted when the leave account of an official shows debit balance due to grant of L&D previously, subject to maximum of 360 days of L&D in the entire service. Suppose you have taken 60 days L&D, you have come back, you have returned to duty, you are yet to earn. 60 days को earn करने पर आपको 6 years, आपके पास 15 साल सर्विस पड़ा है, so you will definitely earn that. But अभी और एक स्पेल चाहता है, suppose you need another 15 days leave, L&D another 15 days, पहले 60 दिन जो L&D ले चुके हैं, तो that itself is yet to be earned. वो अभी उससे पहले इसका और एक 15 दिन का छुट्टी चाहते हैं, so he is entitled, he can take because he has got that much of service left, so he can. ये नहीं बोलना है पहले जो लिया है वो तो बाकी पड़ा है, it is yet to be settled. The half pay leave account shows a debit balance. तब और एक बार कैसे दें? No, that you have to see इसका बैलेंस earn करने का कि उतना सर्विस पड़ा है and his maximum entitlement for the entire service is 360 days max. तो ये दोनों कंडीशन देकर you can sanction. You need not bother about this half pay leave account is shows only debit balance. ऐसा नहीं. Leave salary for the period of L&D is at the rate of leave salary entitlement of half pay leave. L&D is not granted towards the end of the career as a leave preparatory to retirement. कोई भी नहीं देंगे. Commuted leave हो or L&D हो, that will not be given as LPR. Extraordinary leave, EOL. Generally, extraordinary leave is granted but no other kind of leave is available. कुछ भी छुट्टी नहीं है तब जाकर extraordinary leave लेते हैं. Generally, we won't apply. Generally, when we have half pay leave, we will not ask for extraordinary leave. We will get some certificate, medical certificate, किसी से भी मिल जाता है. मेडिकल सर्टिफिकेट लेकर वो उसको देकर आप ले सकते हैं. Generally, EOL is granted when the government servant himself will not ask for L&D because no salary. He will not ask for extraordinary leave. if he has got some other kind of leave left. तो L&D अगर कोई किसी कारण से अपना कैलकुलेशन होगा, he wants to keep all half pay leave already spent, EL account पड़ा है that he wants to encash at the time of, अभी देखिए कैसा कैलकुलेशन होगा. You are likely to get another pay commission. Suppose you are likely to retire after the pay commission, 1 year after the pay commission. Then you will get a higher amount in cash. Higher amount. You can surrender 300 days and take in cash that much money. So easily you will not be willing to avail this EL. You will only ask for extraordinary leave. So ऐसा केस में जनरली खाते में कोई भी खाते में अकाउंट नहीं है, then you will ask for EOL, that is extraordinary leave. It can be granted even while some other kind of leave is available. अगर और L&D half pay leave पड़ा है, EL पड़ा है, तब भी this person is asking for EOL, that can be granted if the government servant specifically applies for it. No leave of any kind can be granted to a government servant for a continuous period of 5 years. Subject to this limitation, any amount of EOL can be granted to a permanent government servant. That is, कोई भी छुट्टी ले लीजिए, the total period at a stretch is 5 years. उससे ज्यादा छुट्टी पर नहीं रह सकते हैं. So with that condition, you can avail this. If you are a permanent government servant, you can avail that much leave. In respect to temporary government servants, temporary government servant ko this 3 months EOL without medical certificate also he can avail. In respect to temporary government servants, extraordinary leave up to 3 months can be granted for all temporary government officials with or without medical certificate. This is very good information because anybody requiring, he is not worried about the money. अगर तनख्वाह नहीं मिले तो उधर भूखा रहेंगे, ऐसा कोई स्थिति नहीं है. Then he wants only leave. बेटी के शादी रखा हुआ है and he needs only leave. Leave salary के बारे में he is not bothered. तो छुट्टी चाहिए. Then in that case he can take extraordinarily, even if he is a temporary government servant, he can take extraordinarily without medical certificate. Officials with a minimum of 1 year continuous service, अगर 1 साल सर्विस पूरा हो गया, then EOL up to 6 months can be granted on medical certificate for common ailments. EOL, that is common ailments के लिए, कोई भी बुखार वगैरह के लिए भी ये 6 महीना तक छुट्टी ले सकते हैं. Condition is 1 year service he should have completed. Then extraordinarily up to 18 months, 18 महीना extraordinarily. Then on MC, medical certificate में, for major ailments like cancer, TB, leprosy, mental illness वगैरह वगैरह के लिए up to 18 months. Officials with more than 3 years service can be granted extraordinarily up to 24 months for purpose of study. Study leave का साथ they can take up to 24 months. Head of the department can grant extraordinary leave exceeding 3 months to SC/ST employees for attending pre-examination training course at notified centers. वो अगर IAS, IPS वगैरह सिविल सर्विस लिखना चाहते हैं, the or any other study for that pre-examination training वगैरह है, then for that purpose they can grant up to 3 months to SC/ST candidates. A government servant on extraordinary leave is not entitled for any leave salary. उसको leave salary के रूप में कुछ नहीं मिलता है except HRE. EOL cannot run concurrently with the notice period for voluntary retirement. Suppose voluntary retirement में जाना चाहते हैं, आपको नोटिस देना होता है 3 months का. वो नोटिस का टाइम पर आपको तो ऑफिस आना होता है. And if you are not keen, बस enough is enough. मेरे को आज ही जाना है, कल दफ्तर नहीं आना है. ऐसा केस में you are giving notice. तो नोटिस पीरियड को छुट्टी ले सकते हैं, EL HPL वगैरह ले सकते हैं नोटिस पीरियड, बट एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी लीव नोटिस पीरियड का जगह यानी एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी लीव नहीं ले सकते हैं। ऐसा कोई आदमी ऐसा बीमार पड़ जाता है, सपोज नोट्स में नहीं लिखा हुआ है, या somebody is sick and he wants to, बस यार मैं नहीं आना चाहता हूँ, so he gives medical certificate for 3 months. इतना लंबा मेडिकल सर्टिफिकेट नहीं मिलता है, बट सपोज सम डिजीज इज देयर, सो ही अप्लाइज फॉर वॉलंटरी रिटायरमेंट। 3 months नोटिस देने की जगह ही गिव्स मेडिकल सर्टिफिकेट। In that case, the rule is you can accept it without notice. Notice period को पूरा वाइप करके, because what is the use of taking extra EOL on medical ground or any other leave on medical ground? वो नहीं चाहिए। नोटिस पीरियड नोटिस के लिए जरूरत नहीं है। You just, if you want, you leave now itself, ऐसा उसको भेज सकते हैं। There are other conditions, pension rule का condition कुछ है। For the purpose of maximum limit, that is, maximum limit क्या है? 5 years. Any leave combined with the other kinds of leave can be taken at a stretch 5 years. For the purpose of maximum limit, 2 spells of extraordinary leave with the other kinds of leave in between should be treated as continuous. ये नहीं बोल सकता है मैं 3 साल छुट्टी पर रहा हूं, now I am availing what sort of छुट्टी? Extraordinary leave. 3 years extraordinary leave में रहकर 15 दिन EL लिया, उसके बाद फिर 2 साल या 3 साल EL extraordinary leave अप्लाई करता है, because there is continuous period. तो इसमें बीच में ये आ गया that some other kind of leave, so that will not be treated as break. It will be treated irrespective of whatever leave you avail in between. It will be treated as continuous period for the purpose of maximum leave. EOL can be granted for regulating periods of absence without pay retrospectively. कोई unauthorized absence को regularize करना है, उसके लिए EOL लेते हैं, so that can be granted for regularization, but naturally you will not get any pay. While credit to EL is given, it will be reduced by 1/10 of extraordinary leave availed and or period of Dizon during the previous half year, subject to a maximum of 15 days. That is, आप extraordinary leave ले चुके हैं, next half year में जब credit देते हैं इसको 1/10 of that period of EOL will be reduced. Maternity leave and paternity leave. Maternity leave is admissible to both married and unmarried female government servants, whether permanent or temporary or apprentice. From 1/9/2009, 180 days of maternity leave can be granted to those with less than 2 surviving children in case of pregnancy. पहले एक जमाना था, उस समय only married women were entitled for maternity leave. ऐसा एक केस था from Ministry of Communication, one girl, government employee, unmarried girl, became pregnant and applied for maternity leave. उस समय ये married or unmarried वो condition वो नहीं था ऐसा. Naturally, it was rejected. For maternity leave is not an, you take some other leave, but maternity leave is not, you are not entitled, because it is only for married women. She appealed to higher officials up to the rank of secretary. She appealed. Her application and appeal was rejected. And she went to High Court. It also rejected. And she went to Supreme Court. She said, Supreme Court said, there is 2 sides to a coin. Likewise, there are 2 sides to a rule. One is the wording of, that is letter of the rule. Number two is spirit of the rule. लेटर ऑफ द रूल, मेरे जैसा आदमी, आप जैसा आदमी वो ही करेंगे. लेटर में क्या लिखा हुआ है? ओनली मैरिड लेडीज आर एंटाइटल्ड. So you will go by that rule. That is letter of the, that is the, what is the language used? That only we will see. But the court said, see the spirit of rule. किस लिए ये छुट्टी दिया जाता है? Because for meeting the confinement, meeting delivery requirement, labor pain, etc., etc. These are the reasons for which maternity leave, the concept of maternity leave came into being only because of this. Labor pain वगैरह वगैरह जो भी है, that is applicable to all women who is going to deliver. So maternity leave के लिए आप मना नहीं कर सकते हैं. Rule may be wrong. So spirit of the rule देखने से, she, whether married or unmarried, if she is in government employment, you have to give. But morality question जब आता है, you take action. वो कुछ और बात है. In case you want to take action, you are not accepting. Then in that case, you take a disciplinary action. That is different thing. But here, for the purpose of maternity leave, that rule has to be changed. Thereafter, it was changed. Maternity leave of 45 days can be granted in the entire service for abortion or miscarriage, but not for threatened abortion, irrespective of whether she has 2 children or more. These conditions you have to bear in mind. This is very important because one thing, whether the lady government employee, female government employee, has 2 children or more, maybe she has 4 children, that doesn't bother. In case she has got 4 children, she conceives and then abortion takes place, this leave she is entitled. How many abortion? No question. No question. It could be 2, 3, 4, 5, 45 days maximum. That maternity leave for the purpose of abortion. The maximum limit of number of days only you have to see. She may avail it for two times, 3 times, or 1 time, whatever it is. Maximum 45 days throughout the entire service. This only you have to see. Maternity leave is not debited to any leave account. वो मुफ्त में दिया जाता है. It is given as gratis. So this is for a specific purpose, and there is no question of debiting. There is no leave account at all for that. So maternity leave is not debited to any leave account. It is granted with full leave salary. Full leave salary milta hai. Maternity leave can be combined with any other kind of leave, except of course casual leave. Any leave, including commuted leave up to 60 days and L&D. So that is possible. Without medical certificate, in continuation of maternity leave, you can avail. May be taken without medical certificate up to 2 years. Up to 2 years in continuation. Totally 2-year period तक आपको ये ले सकते हैं. Period of maternity leave counts for increment and pension. तो qualifying service में ये गिना जाएगा. In the case of officials to whom the provisions of Employees State Insurance Act apply, the leave salary will be reduced by the benefit admissible under the Act for the corresponding. अगर कुछ और benefit मिलता है, then pay will be adjusted. वो उतना तक reduce करके pay, maternity pay मिलेगा. Then special maternity leave, इसके बारे में अभी तक कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं आया है. इस रूल, स्पेशल मैटरनिटी लीव का जो रूल आया है, इसके बारे में अभी तक क्वेश्चन नहीं आया है. You may expect a question. Keeping in view the potential emotional trauma caused due to stillbirth or death of a child soon after birth, which has a far-reaching impact on the mother's life, a female central government employee with less than 2 surviving children will be entitled for 60 days special maternity leave in case of death of a child at or shortly after birth, defined as 28 days after birth. This is effective from 2/9/2022. तो अगर स्टिल बर्थ, तो बच्चा मरा हुआ पैदा हुआ होने से, और पैदा होने के बाद shortly after birth, if something happens to the child, if this child dies, that is within 28 days after birth, the child dies, then in such cases, the female government servant is entitled to have special maternity leave, 60 days. लेकिन एक government servant, that is female government servant, got maternity leave sanctioned, and she has delivered a stillborn baby. तो जितना दिन वो मैटरनिटी लीव अवेल किया है, उसको उसी डेट ऑफ डेथ ऑफ द चाइल्ड, सो उस दिन तक मैटरनिटी लीव माना जाएगा. उसके बाद जो कंटिन्यूअसली मैटरनिटी लीव का जो सैंक्शन हुआ है, उसको कैंसल करके दिस लीव विल बी सब्स्टिट्यूटेड. This is applicable where the child delivery takes place in the government hospital or private hospital empaneled under the CGHS. Delivery normally government hospital में होना चाहिए और इन empaneled hospital में होना चाहिए. लेकिन हमेशा ये possible नहीं है. दर्द होता है, admit करना पड़ता है, delivery होता है. So there could be emergency, anytime emergency. In case of emergency, delivery in non-empaneled private hospitals, production of emergency certificate is mandatory. वो दे देते हैं without कोई condition, without any condition, the doctors give emergency certificate. Private hospital में delivery होने से भी ये मिल सकता है. In case maternity leave has already been availed by a female employee and her leave continues till the date of expiry of the child, soon after birth or stillbirth, the maternity leave already availed till death of the child may be converted into any other kind of leave available in her leave account without insisting for a medical certificate, and the special maternity leave of 60 days may be granted from the date of expiry of the child. उससे पहले कितना दिन मैटरनिटी लीव अवेल कर चुके हैं, वो मैटरनिटी लीव ही रहेगा. लेकिन ऐसा स्थिति में बच्चा मरा हुआ पैदा हुआ है, from then onwards the other portion, other part of the maternity leave will be cancelled, and that will be treated as special maternity leave, up to, of course, to a maximum of 60 days. In case the maternity leave has not been availed by a female government employee, 60 days of special maternity leave may be granted from the date of expiry of the child after birth or stillbirth. कोई ऐसा भी है, very strong body, strong will, last day तक दफ्तर आते हैं. Last day, that is delivery date से पहला दिन भी दफ्तर आते हैं. This I have seen in hilly terrain. नागालैंड में जब काम कर रहे थे, that time I have seen previous day तक आएंगे दफ्तर. गवर्नमेंट एम्प्लॉइज जो लेडी उधर का लेडीज हैं, उनका ये कॉफ मसल देखने से वो फुटबॉल प्लेयर का मसल जैसा होता है. दे आर वेरी स्ट्रांग, वेरी स्ट्रांग. तो प्रीवियस डे तक दफ्तर आते हैं. हमारा इधर भी वन और टू फ्यू केसेस विल बी देयर. छुट्टी है, अवेल करते हैं, वो अलग बात है. लेकिन whether they are able to, one or two they are able to, they come to office. In that case, ऐसा एक मिसहैप हुआ है, then they instead of applying for maternity leave, they will apply for this special maternity leave. A baby born with no sign of life at or after 28 weeks of gestation, अगर कंसीव होने के बाद 28 weeks may be defined as stillbirth. After 28 weeks after conception, तो मर जाता है अंदर ही. So in that case it can be called stillbirth. पहले जो सेटल हो चुका है उसको रीओपन नहीं करना है. केसेस सेटल्ड ऑलरेडी. Paternity leave is granted to a male government servant with less than 2 surviving children. तो मेल मेंबर को भी पैटर्निटी लीव बोलकर एक लीव मिलता है. दिस कैन बी ग्रांटेड टू अप्रेंटिसेस आल्सो. मैक्सिमम 15 days कैन बी ग्रांटेड ड्यूरिंग कन्फाइनमेंट ऑफ हिज वाइफ. अगर वो डिलीवरी वाइफ का डिलीवरी टाइम है उससे, बिकॉज निश्चित रूप से वो नहीं एडवांस नहीं बोल सकता है, तो इसलिए इट इज नॉट ग्रांटेड इन एडवांस. डिलीवरी डेट से 15 दिन 15 दिन छुट्टी ले सकते हैं. And from 22/7/2009, on valid adoption of a child below the age of 1 year, उसके लिए भी पैटर्निटी लीव मिलता है. Leave salary for the period will be equal to loss paid drawn, just like maternity leave. Paternity leave is also not debited to any kind of leave account. It can be combined with any kind of leave except casual leave. It should be applied up to 15 days before or up to 6 months from the date of delivery. So yeah, that advance ka baat, the office should agree. Otherwise, nobody knows. Normally, this leave should not be refused. In general, it should not be refused. A male government servant, including an apprentice, with less than 2 surviving children on valid adoption of a child below the age of 1 year may be sanctioned paternity leave for a period of 15 days within a period of 6 months from the date of valid adoption. तो वैलिड अडॉप्शन करने के बाद 6 महीने के अंदर 15 दिन पैटर्निटी लीव ले सकते हैं. चाइल्ड अडॉप्शन लीव. Child adoption leave can be granted to a female government servant with less than 2 surviving children on valid adoption of a child below the age of 1 year. 1 साल से कम वाला बच्चा एक को अडॉप्ट करने से जिस लेडी जो अडॉप्ट करते हैं उनको 2 बच्चा से ज्यादा नहीं होना चाहिए. Then this leave can be availed. What is the period? 180 days immediately after the date of such adoption. अडॉप्ट करने का दिन के बाद 180 days इनको मिलता है. During the period, she is eligible for leave salary equal to the pay drawn immediately before proceeding on leave. Previous day तक जितना पे मिलता था वो that pay she will get. It may be combined with any other kind of leave. तो other kind of leave के साथ combine कर सकते हैं. In continuation of child adoption leave, any leave of kind due and admissible, including leave not due and commuted leave, not exceeding 60 days without production of medical certificate, may be granted up to 1 year, reduced by the, 1 साल तक आपको एक्सटेंडेड लीव ले सकते हैं. एक्सटेंडेड लीव ले सकते हैं. So up to a period of 1 year, without taking into account child adoption leave. Child adoption leave 180 days का मिलता है, तो then extension ले सकते हैं. That too inclusive of 60 days without medical certificate, that is leave not due, and 60 days commuted leave. Include leave not due and commuted leave. That inclusive, this can be done. Only one condition, that the age of the child will be reduced in that extended period of leave. The age of child will be reduced. ये एक क्वेश्चन दिया हुआ है. A female government servant having a child of her own validly adopts, एक ही बच्चा है उसको, validly adopts a 2-month-old child. एक बच्चा को अडॉप्ट करता है, उसका एज 2 months old child. In addition to 180 days of CAL, child adoption leave, she applied for and the authority granted 60 days commuted leave without medical certificate and 280 days half pay leave. Comment दे सकते हैं. Only thing 2 महीना को reduce करना है चाहिए, because child का एज क्या है? The child is 2 months old. So that extended leave में 60 दिन का कम करके दे सकते हैं. Child care leave. This kind of leave has been introduced subsequent to implementation of recommendations of 6th Central Pay Commission. 6th पे कमीशन के बाद ये छुट्टी लागू हुआ है. Women employee having minor children may be granted child care leave by an authority competent to grant leave for a maximum period of 2 years, 730 days, during their entire service for taking care of two eldest surviving children, whether for rearing or to look after any of the needs like examination, sickness, etc. Women employee having minor children, that's all. कितना children इधर नहीं बताया है. That is, a women employee having minor children, they are entitled for this child care leave. तो कब मिलता है? एंटायर सर्विस में 730 days मिलेगा. फॉर चाइल्ड का, माइनर चाइल्ड, सपोज द चाइल्ड इज इन 11th standard, then before completion that 18 years बन जाता है, then in that case that maximum limit applicable to minor child जिसको 18 years तक ये उसको पालने का ये मिलता है लीव. But if the child crosses 18 years, then that she cannot avail this child adoption leave, no child care leave. तो कौन सा पर्पस के लिए? एग्जाम को पढ़ाना है, उसको एग्जाम के लिए तैयारी कराना है, और सिकनेस, वो बच्चा कभी बीमारी, वो उसके लिए, for these purposes. It may be availed of in more than one spell. 730 days एक ही साथ लेना है, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. It can be availed in more than one spell. Single mother होने से 6 times, others 3 times. With effect from 13/6/2018, CCL shall not be granted for a period of less than 5 days. Attested 5 दिन से कम वाला 1 दिन, 2 दिन, 3 दिन का ले नहीं सकता. At least 5 days leave you should avail. Child care leave shall not be admissible if the child is 18 years of age or older. In the case of handicapped child, there is no age limit. अगर बच्चा ये handicapped हो, then this limitation of 18 years that won't be applicable. CCL has been extended to single male parents also. पहले ये शुरुआत में ये only for female employees, now it is extended to male employees also. Unmarried, widower, divorcee, इनमें कोई भी है बच्चा, अगर उनके पास एक बच्चा है पालने के लिए, this is the only person, he is the government servant, he has to look after. ऐसा स्थिति में he could be unmarried, he could be a widower, he could be a divorcee, then he can avail this. Those on CCL may leave headquarters. CCL में रहकर वो initially कुछ conditions confusing सा था. Every case you have to refer to headquarters for clarification. They will refer further to DOPT and ask for clarification. ऐसा था. Then now almost many doubts are cleared. Those on CCL may leave headquarters. पहले LTC avail नहीं कर सकता था first initially. That was a question of interpretation. Now you can leave headquarters. So suppose बच्चा कोई एग्जामिनेशन है ऐसा बोल के छुट्टी लेते हैं. Suppose 60 days leave is taken for preparing the child for examination. लेकिन लीव एड्रेस देना पड़ता है. उसमें instead of Delhi is the headquarters, instead of Delhi he has shown some other place, whether it is possible or sickness के वास्ते लिया है, and they are showing the during leave period they will be in different place. Whether it is permissible? Yes, permissible. They can leave the headquarters. जिस जगह काम करते हैं उससे बाहर रह सकते हैं during that. They can spend that leave. Not only that, they can avail LTC using CCL. ये नहीं बोल सकता है ये बीमार बोल के लिया है वही, how can you avail LTC? वो अंदर जाने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है. They can go abroad. Not only any other place in the country, they can go abroad also. Of course, other conditions should be fulfilled. उसका passport का permission, leaving the country permission, financial, कैसा you are meeting the cost of journey. ये सारा explain करके permission लेना होता है. That is not in the purview of leave rule. Leave देने वाला ये सब पूछने की जरूरत नहीं है. Whether CCL can be granted for going abroad. बच्चा को पढ़ाना है, पालना है, ये अलग बात है. तो उसके लिए जब CCL देते हैं, लीव एड्रेस US का एड्रेस देने से मान जाना चाहिए. They can go abroad. LTC may also be availed during CCL. During the period of such leave, the women employees shall be paid leave salary equal to the pay drawn immediately before proceeding on leave. Full pay and allowances milega for the first year. Second year, 80% of pay and allowance milega. Child care leave shall not be debited against the leave account. There is no separate, but there is a form to be kept. Service book में separate एक form रखना चाहिए, because it is not going to be taken in one go. तो बच्चा जब 18 years तक इसको use कर सकते हैं, this leave can be used. So there should be some accounting. तो इसलिए एक फॉर्म रखा था, लास्ट पेज में इसको अटैच कर देंगे. It may also be allowed for the third year. 2 years तक ये मिलेगा. तो for the third year पहले LND देखे थे, leave not due without medical certificate. It may be combined with leave of the kind due and admissible. It can be combined with other kind of this thing also. CCL shall not ordinarily be granted during the probation period. CCL probation period में generally नहीं दिया जाता है. अगर if you can convince बच्चा इतना बीमार है, ये दीजिए, दे सकते हैं. You can, the leave sanctioning authority can give, except in case of extreme situations where the leave sanctioning authority is fully satisfied about the need. It may also be ensured that the period for which leave is sanctioned during probation is minimal. पूरा 730 दिन पूरा दे दो, नहीं, वो जितना essential है उतना देना चाहिए. The leave cannot be demanded as a matter of right. कोई भी leave है, कोई भी leave के लिए वही applicable है. Here also, employee cannot. This is a condition. Without getting it sanctioned, don't go. Holidays in between, that is like EL. जो भी holidays बीच में आएगा वो सारा ये गिनती में आ जाएगा. Earned leave, if any, availed before availing. This is at the time this rule came into being. उस समय earned leave में कोई भी रहा, then in this that earned leave was for looking after a child who was preparing for examination, whose child was already suffering. उसको look after करने के लिए वो कुछ और leave ली थी. But in between this came, in that case, that could be converted. So it is a past case. Leave account for CCL shall be maintained in a prescribed pro forma and shall be kept in the service book. Then study leave. Study leave is granted to a government servant, both GOs and NGOs, guested officer and non-guested officer, for undergoing special course or higher studies or specialized training in a professional or a technical subject having a direct close connection with the sphere of his duty. Particular study should be approved by the authority competent to grant leave. पहले तो ये स्पेशलाइज्ड कोर्स के लिए ये होता है, बट नाउडेज वो दिस रूल स्टडी लीव ऐसा एक चीज है, इसमें रिलैक्सेशन कई मामले में रिलैक्सेशन दे सकते हैं. हर एक चीज में रिलैक्सेशन दे सकते हैं. फर्स्ट, द कोर्स इटसेल्फ, it is essential that the competent authorities should certify that it is given in public interest. This course is approved by the competent authority. Yes, for this purpose, this is relevant for the official. इसको ट्रेनिंग ये स्टडी लीव देना ठीक है, ऐसा करके सर्टिफिकेट देना होता है. Then, in case it is not there, but it will do good in his government service, ऐसा करके एक जनरल सर्टिफिकेट देकर भी ये दे सकते हैं स्टडी लीव. Study leave may also be granted for studies not closely or directly connected with the work, but which are capable of widening his mind and improving his ability as a civil servant. जनरली उसका कैपेबिलिटी इंक्रीज करेगा बोल के एक सर्टिफिकेट देकर स्टडी लीव दे सकते हैं. कॉम्पिटेंट अथॉरिटी शुड गिव सर्टिफिकेट रिगार्डिंग पब्लिक इंटरेस्ट. एक सर्टिफिकेट जरूरी है that this person has applied for study leave and I am satisfied that it is in public interest. Leave for study outside India should not be granted if facility is available in India. अगर कोई फैसिलिटी इंडिया में है, उस स्टडी का फैसिलिटी इंडिया में है, तो फॉरेन जाकर पढ़ने का परमिशन नहीं देना चाहिए. But what we see today, an IAS officer or IPS officer is getting study leave to study MBA in Australia. Relaxation. हर एक चीज को रिलैक्स कर सकता है. Not granted to same official with such frequency, keeping him away from his normal functioning. ऐसा होता है. ये किस लिए ये इनकॉर्पोरेशन है? मैक्सिमम 24 मंथ्स दे सकते हैं. फर्स्ट 6 महीना का कोर्स ऑस्ट्रेलिया में है, वापस आकर 1 महीना भी काम नहीं किया है, लेकिन अहमदाबाद में मैनेजमेंट इंस्टीट्यूट में एक डिप्लोमा कोर्स फॉर 3 months डिप्लोमा कोर्स, फिर आया, देन अनदर वन कहीं जाकर सिंगापुर में पढ़ना है, उसके लिए अनदर 6 months. ऐसा करके ही इज नॉट एट ऑल अलाउड टू attend to his official work. So frequently he is getting. I know of one official PA in MEA. एक PA था MEA में, and उसका husband a government employee serving in UPSC, and he was UDC, I think, that during that period. So she was getting political background. She was getting posted to one A country, then B country, then C country, like that. Then this fellow also was availing leave, extraordinary leave, or what kind of leave. He was availing and going along with the lady. वो 5 साल के बाद आकर 1 साल उधर UPSC में काम करके फिर again wherever she went, and she was also able to stay in the फॉरेन कंट्री. कोई भी कंट्री में शिफ्ट होते रहता है, इधर से उधर से, इंडिया को आना ही नहीं, ऐसा टिल रिटायरमेंट है ऐसा. सो इट ऑल डिपेंड्स. रिलैक्सेशन ओनली satisfaction of the concerned authority. Not granted to same official with such frequency, keeping him away from his normal functioning. This the official should have a minimum period of 5 years. That is, ज्वाइन करके 5 साल से पहले ये स्टडी लीव नहीं देना चाहिए. रिटायर होने से 3 साल है, उसको नहीं देना चाहिए. दैट इज इमीडिएटली आफ्टर ज्वाइनिंग 5 years तक स्टडी लीव नहीं देना है. रिटायर होने का ओनली 3 years आर देयर, देन ऑल्सो स्टडी लीव शुड नॉट बी गिवन. इसी तरह कोई भी ट्रेनिंग कंप्लीट करने के बाद only 3 years will be left. At least 3 years should be left. उनको दे सकते. The official should have a minimum service of 5 years. He should not be left with less than 3 years of service for retirement after completion of training. Ministry, that is head of the department, is competent. Ordinarily, 12 months leave is granted at a time, which can be availed in more than one spell also, and 24 months in all during entire service. So at a stretch 12 months, in the entire service 24 months. Study leave can be combined with any other kind of leave, that is include other than EOL. It should not exceed 28 months. The total period in combination with other kinds of leave and vacation should not exceed 36 months if it is for PhD degree. No TA is ordinarily paid, again exception, but president may sanction in exceptional cases. Cost of fees for study is ordinarily paid by the government servant, but in exceptional cases it may be borne by the government. उधर पढ़ने के लिए कुछ फीस जमा करना है, वो भी generally government servant who is availing study leave, he has to pay from his pocket. But in case the president wishes, decides, exceptional case treat करके उसको pay कर सकता है. The official should execute a bond. This is not relaxed. Execute a bond in prescribed form. No study allowance is admissible. Again, if the government servant takes up with permission a part-time employment, study allowance is either not paid or suitably reduced. Whatever happens, that is, I mentioned 1 or 2 countries where the part-time job to Indian students that is available. So उसमें dollars में you are earning in dollars. So वो study allowance जो भी है उसको that leave salary, that amount is adjusted, if at all that is intimated. In exceptional cases, the president may sanction such fees. That is, fees तो खुद pay करना चाहिए. अगर president चाहते हैं तो वो भी waive कर सकते हैं. In case he is in receipt of scholarship, stipend, cost of fee will not be paid. Finance ministry should agree to release foreign exchange ministry. Now it doesn't matter. हमारे पास बहुत पड़ा है foreign exchange. If the course fails, if the course falls short of study leave, एक साल का छुट्टी लेकर 12 महीना का छुट्टी लेकर स्टडी लीव में गए थे, स्टडी लीव में लेकर गए थे, कोर्स 8 महीना में कोर्स खत्म हो गया, तो he should not stay in that country. Suppose he is going out, he should not stay in that country. He should come back, cutting short the leave, and he should join duty. Leave salary equal to the pay loss drawn. जो स्टडी लीव में जाने से पहले जितना पे मिलता था वो मिलेगा. For the first 180 days of the study leave, HRA will be admissible at the rates at which it was drawn at the station from where he proceeded on leave. But its continuance beyond 180 days is subject to production of necessary certificate. कहा यह HRA 180 days तक पूरा मिल जाएगा without any question at the rate admissible at the place where he was proceeding on leave. Suppose Delhi से study leave में जा रहा है, then he is entitled for HRA up to 180 days at the rate applicable in Delhi. If the study is abroad, study allowance is admissible in addition to leave salary. तो study allowance में मिलेगा leave salary के साथ. The amount received as a scholarship or stipend or remuneration in respect of part-time employment shall be adjusted against the leave salary. Leave salary में वो stipend वगैरह मिलने से वो उसमें adjust हो जाएगा. But should not be less than the half pay leave salary. That is, उसका study leave का salary वो fees वगैरह जो भी stipend उसको minus करके से leave salary देते हैं, then that should not go below, lesser than the half pay leave entitlement. Study leave counts for promotion, increment, pension and seniority. Study leave सबके लिए qualified service माना जाएगा. Fellowships offered by the following institutions are eligible for study leave. So fellowship may be for 2 years, 3 years. So it depends on the university which is offering, the institution which is offering. Jawaharlal Nehru Memorial Fellowship, KK Birla Foundation, Indian Institute of Management, Management Development Institute, Gurgaon, Lok Nayak JP Narayan Institute of Criminology and Forensic Sciences. Terms: study leave will be granted for the entire period of fellowship. Study leave period 12 महीना 24 months, 28 months, 36 months ऐसा स्टिपुलेशंस आ रहा है, इसमें फेलोशिप में नहीं चलेगा. फेलोशिप अगर 3 साल के लिए फेलोशिप है, all the 3 years study leave you will get. The official will be entitled to benefits under the fellowship in addition to leave salary equal to pay. उधर अगर फेलोशिप देने वाला इंस्टीट्यूशन में खाना पीना फ्री मिलता है, that is also in addition to leave salary he can avail. When considered necessary, the official may be allowed to retain government accommodation and telephone, but must pay the bills for rental. Suppose somebody is going on study leave, his family is living government accommodation में, उसमें टेलीफोन लगा हुआ है सरकार का, rent or call charges they have to pay, but this telephone will be allowed to continue there. Resignation, retirement after study leave. If an official resigns or otherwise quits within 3 years after return to duty, or does so without returning to duty from study leave, or fails to complete the course, he has to refund all the benefits availed by him from the government or any other institution. In exceptional cases, the president may waive reduce the इसमें भी discretion use कर सकते हैं. Study leave to CHS, Central Health Service officers, will be granted permission or study leave for pursuing postgraduate degree, diploma, DNB, that is diploma of diplomate of National Board courses, DNB courses, conducted by National Board of Examinations. अगर ये इंडियन मेडिकल काउंसिल से अप्रूव नहीं कोर्स ने अप्रूव नहीं हो तब भी वो पढ़ने के लिए ये दे सकते हैं परमिशन. The Government of India at the recommendation of Medical Council of India. PG allowance shall be granted only for possession of PG degree. PG के लिए separate allowance एक रूल है. आप MCA पढ़ने से आपको एक्स्ट्रा अलाउंस ये मिलता है, वो एडिशनल क्वालिफिकेशन MBA पढ़ने से इतना अलाउंस मिलता है. तो उसमें you will get only those allowances will be admissible only if the course is recognized by the Government of India, that is Medical Council of India. Then work-related illness and injury leave. This is a special leave, cancelling other hospital leave, etc. They have created this leave, this rule. Special disability leave has been substituted by a new leave named work-related illness and injury leave, WRIIL, which may be granted to a government servant who suffers illness or injury that is attributable to or aggravated in the performance of his official duties or in consequence of his official position. सरकार का काम करने से, as a consequence, they got this disease. Then in that case, they got this injury. Then in that case, this leave will be, that is, any illness or injury that should be attributable, wholly attributable to the government job. So in that case, occupational hazard, उससे ये injury हुआ है, then in that case you are entitled for this. With the introduction of WRIIL, special disability leave for accidental injury under Rule 45 and hospital leave under Rule 46 have been deleted. WRIIL has following provisions. Full pay and allowances will be granted to all employees during the entire period of hospitalization on account of WRIIL. Beyond hospitalization, WRIIL will be governed as follows. Full pay and allowances. First, number 1, full pay and allowances will be granted to all employees during the entire period of hospitalization on account of WRIIL. That is, work-related injury के वास्ते आपको hospitalize करना पड़े, then the period, there is no limitation. The entire period of hospitalization, you will get this leave. Beyond hospitalization, WRIL will be governed by the ASIF. हॉस्पिटलाइजेशन का इन पेशेंट जब रहेंगे वो जितना दिन रहेंगे उतना दिन आपको पे एंड अलाउंस के साथ ये लीव मिलेगा. इफ यू आर कमिंग आउट स्टिल कन्वलेसिंग पीरियड इज देयर, ऑफिस अटेंड नहीं कर पाते हैं, देन इन दैट केस full pay and allowances for 6 months immediately following hospitalization and half pay only for 12 months beyond that. हॉस्पिटल से डिस्चार्ज होने के बाद 6 months full pay, 12 months off pay the milega. The half pay period may be commuted to full pay with the corresponding number of days of half pay leave debited from the employee's leave account. In the case of persons to whom the Workman Compensation Act 1923 applies, the amount of leave salary payable under WRIL shall be reduced by that amount you get from that leave. No earned leave or half pay leave will be credited during the period while the employee is on WRIL. That is, whose period, suppose you are on WRIL for 6 months from January to 30th of June. In that case, 1st July में credit एक दिन भी credit नहीं मिलेगा. Special leave connected with the inquiry on sexual harassment. ऐसा सेक्सुअल हरासमेंट का कंप्लेंट है, इंक्वायरी हो रहा है, ये इंक्वायरी कब तक चालू है, उस समय तक, that during that period the affected person will be entitled for 90 days special leave. That is on the recommendation of the internal complaints committee. The leave so granted shall not be debited against any leave account. तो उसके लिए separate leave account नहीं, this is a special kind of leave. Encashment of leave 300 दिन तक encash कर सकते हैं. On retirement you can encash EL and half pay leave up to 300 days. वो कैसा है? Suppose you have 250 days EL, उतना ही है आपका EL में, and you have got another 250 days half pay leave. 250 days EL you can surrender because you are entitled to surrender, I mean encash up to 300 days. But आपके खाते में only 250 is available. So 250 avail कर सकते हैं full pay के साथ. लेकिन balance 50 days उसको, though he has got, the employee has got 250 days off pay leave, उसमें commute करके full pay leave नहीं ले सकते हैं. वो 50 days गिनती के लिए that 50 days will be adjusted from, taken out from half pay leave. 250 days EL with full pay can be encashed. Another 50 days जो short पड़ता है maximum entitlement के, so that 50 days you can take from half pay leave and encash. Though you have got 250 days half pay leave, you cannot take it in the form of a commuted leave. You can take only as half pay leave. Number of days को पूरा करने के लिए half pay leave इस्तेमाल किया जाता है. That's all. This is of course in addition to, आप हर एक EL अवेल करने के समय आपको LTC में जाने के समय आपको एक एनकैशमेंट का फैसिलिटी 10 दिन एनकैश करने का फैसिलिटी उस समय LTC जाने के समय मिलता है. That will not be adjusted against the total number of days to be encashed. उसमें नहीं. इसका अलावा LTC जाने के समय जो एनकैश किया हुआ है during the entire period of service, that will not reduce your entitlement at the end. When an employee resigns or quits service on his own accord, the lump sum cash payment will be only to the extent of half of the earned leave. कोई resign कर देता है, only half of the entitled. Suppose he has got only 200 days EL in his account at the time of resignation, then he can encash only 50% off that 200 days. But he has got 300 days at the time of resignation. Then up to 150 days he can encash. Death while in service. The cash equivalent to leave salary for earned leave and half-pay leave due and admissible to the deceased on the date immediately following the date of death will be paid to his family. अगर कोई मर जाता है उनको फैमिली को मिल जाएगा ये. The lump sum will be the lump sum will consist of only pay and DA. Only these two components, HRA etc. will not be given. Okay. Calculation कैसा करना है? लीव सैलरी एनकैशमेंट का लीव सैलरी का कैसा कैलकुलेट करना है? पे प्लस DA divided by pay plus DA divided by 30 into number of days. हाफ पे लीव का हाफ पे leave salary plus DA divided by 30 into number of days availed. So this is your leave rule. Okay. With this leave rules, all the leave rules are are complete. We'll see in the next class. Okay. Good night.